Hey, welcome to this episode of Profitology with Perry Jeffries, the podcast where we cover the numbers, the systems, and the strategies that entrepreneurs absolutely need to know in order to maintain profitability, not only in their business, but also in their family and their finances. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Perry Jeffries, known as the Entrepreneur CFO, and also president of Diamond Equity Advisors, a full service investment advisory firm specializing in cash management for businesses, as well as retirement planning for families. Our company is known as the Cash Flow Concierge, and we work with clients across the country. So before we get started, just a little bit about our business. Our vision is to help close the wealth gap one business at a time. So we love what we do. We love highlighting other entrepreneurs and learning from their stories. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is do this right here. We know that entrepreneurship has taken over as the leading driver of wealth in the United States, which means we got to get this thing right. And if we can get this thing right, we can continue to close the wealth gap in the communities. So we're super excited about what we do. All right. So before we get started, I always kind of like to start off with a thought of the day. And today's thought of the day is not going to be, a canned quote or anything of that nature. I'm just going to speak from the heart on this particular thought of the day. But you hear people talk about your net worth and your network being your net worth and things of that nature. But with respects to the guests we have on today, I'm super excited because this is someone from my hometown. And LeBron had a quote when he won a championship several years ago. Hey, I'm just a kid from Akron. I'm just happy to be here, right? And so, just coming from, Northeast Ohio in that area and coming from, not the best of places to just keep it 100. But with that being said, we were still able to come from that environment and put ourselves in a position to really make our families proud and be able to take care of our family. So again, not a canned thought of the day, just me speaking from the heart here. And one of the reasons we're highlighting this particular guest is because one of our core values at Diamond Equity Advisors is to be an ecosystem engineer. And that's just a fancy way of saying this. We believe 100% that if we help the people in our network, our environment, our friends, our clients, our family, if we help them win, then ultimately we know that we'll win. So we focus on making sure that we always have, when we have the opportunity to highlight our friends and our family and also to our clients, because we appreciate you. So with that being said, y'all, allow me to introduce, I would call this, one of my big bros, right? My man, Will Evans here with us. And Will is coming to us as a rep over at a Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company. And before I let him speak here, I got to share a couple things. So Will, when I say my big bro, Will and I are from the same city, went to two different high schools. And with that being said, we both played basketball. I think Will is a year or two in front of me. And, Will Evans was one of those cats that's like, man, we got to go against East. Will is nice. You know what I'm saying? Like he's nice. So he was one of those cats we looked at like, yo, this dude is nice, right? So it's so cool that we had that bond with basketball. And that bond now has evolved into a business relationship and a personal relationship. So again, super excited to have my guy on here. So with that being said, Will, man, thanks for joining us on the episode, man. Just love to have you here, brother. And man, tell the audience, the folks who don't know you, our listeners, tell us a little bit about you and tell us a little bit about what you do, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Perry, I am so grateful, man, to be a part of your show. I'm grateful for what you're doing, man, because you're making a difference in a lot of people's lives. You've been doing it for years, man. Like you, I've been kind of sitting back watching you, and then we finally connected and had a great conversation, and here we are. So, again, thank you so much, man. So yeah, like Perry said, we're both from Akron, Ohio, a small place with everybody there got a big heart. And we were able to make it out in the sense of just see the world a little bit different versus staying confined in that box. And so I'm grateful that we come from Akron and that we have a national platform with LeBron and other people to help highlight our city. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've been part of Lincoln Heritage since 2014. I started in the business. The only time I ever had a life insurance license is with Lincoln. And one of the main reasons I got into the business is because when my grandmother passed away in 2002, it made it really simple for us to transition her as far as celebrating her life. We didn't have to come up with any money. We didn't have to try to do any fish dinners or anything weird to pay for her services. So I was able to relate because Lincoln Heritage does just that, offering family support services for those that have to go through the process, and also offering a very affordable whole life insurance product that will pay for any funeral services, be it traditional cremation, burial plots, anything that comes along with transitioning your loved one to their final resting place. So it made it easy to plug into Lincoln because I felt it from my heart.
Love that, bro. So I'm just taking my notes right here,
No
and
worries.
I'll be taking notes in between here. So the thing that really hit me in the head right then is, though we're in the first day of the new quarter, the fourth quarter, and it's crazy that we're already in the fourth quarter of 2020 already, but we're coming out of September, and September is National Life Insurance Awareness Month, right? And what you said is something really key. You were able to celebrate your grandmother's life because the financial piece was in order. You didn't have to pass the hat, didn't have to sell fish dinners, didn't have to do a GoFundMe, right? Where you know what I'm saying, you had that in place, because if you can take that out the equation, then you can truly celebrate your loved one's life and be able to grieve and celebrate and do what you need to do, man. So to hear that's why you got into the business. Because I remember in 2014 when you got into the business, I remember, I believe, I saw you out one night talking to one of the partners from the company, and
Yeah,
I think you
I
introduced me to him. Yeah, so I remember when you was like, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing," and the whole nine. So I remember that in 2014, man.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the backstory of that.
Mhm.
That you kind of had that understanding, like, man, this is a powerful piece and something that everybody should be able to experience, is having some peace of mind when you lose a loved one, right? So I think that's just absolutely awesome. So tell us a little bit, man, about the product offering, if you will, right? Because obviously, you know what I'm saying, what we want to do is highlight what you do and also to learn a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey. But before we get into your journey, let's educate people on what you actually offer from a final expense standpoint, and the other piece that helps with the grieving. Tell us a little bit more about what that is.
Absolutely, Perry. So there is a difference because most people think that all life insurance serves the same purpose, right? So the difference is you have standard life insurance, and then you have, and that can be in the form of whole life or term, right? Whole life is more permanent coverage, term is more temporary, but yet it goes on if you qualify. But final expense is geared towards your final expenses, meaning that that's the first bill that's due when you pass away versus having to pay off a house or having to supplement income. A funeral home or crematory wants their money right now, which is rightfully so, but the beneficiary themselves need that money quickly. So we're the only company in the United States that pays the beneficiaries within 24 hours of claim approval.
Wow.
And we don't need a original death certificate. All we need is a copy. And we're the only company with those relaxed underwriting guidelines in the nation, which makes us the largest in the nation as far as final expense.
Love it, love it. Okay, so let me put it in let me say it a different way as well,
Yeah.
just so I can understand it. Because I'm not as smart as what people think. Sometimes I got to say it back just to make sure I'm crystal clear on it, right? So insurance is just a super broad topic, and you hear people all the time want to have that conversation about what's better, term or whole life, and right. And I'm so tired of hearing that conversation. So usually what I tell folks is this: when it comes to term or whole life, one is not better than the other. What I
Yeah.
believe is it's kind of like going to dinner. If we went to the steakhouse and you come to visit me in Columbus, and we go over to Smith and Lewinsky's, we grab some steak. If they bring us a soup, are we going to use a spoon or a fork? Hopefully, we're going to
Mhm.
use a spoon because we're going to look crazy using a fork, right? But when they bring our steak out, that's when we're going to pull out our fork and our knife. That's how I tell people the difference between term and whole life is what the purpose of the product is for. So it's not one is better or worse, is what the purpose is. And now hearing you, we need to add just another, saying, a utensil to the equation, right? Because, final expense is not for, hey, I want to, be able to send my kid to college or pay the house off and things of that nature. It's sole purpose is to make sure that the beneficiary gets that money in 24 hours and can cover the final expense, you know what I'm saying, stuff. So the burial and the funeral costs and things of that nature. Am I understanding that correctly?
Man, you're spot on, Perry. And I love that analogy, brother. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. So y'all hear this, y'all, you know what I'm saying? When you start talking about insurance, because again, it's a super broad topic. Insurance, different insurances serve different purposes. So what Will offers here with his company is the final expense piece, which is huge because those who haven't lost a loved one, or unfortunately, if you have lost a loved one, know that you lose a loved one. If that financial house is not in order, you got to go and get death certificates. And most companies want the original and things of that nature. And with this final expense policy, literally you can get a copy of the death certificate, send that in, and then we're paying that money out in 24 hours, which means that the family then can use that money for the funeral home, for the cremation, for the dinner afterwards. They have those funds in hand. And the deal is the person could still have other life insurance. They could still have a term policy or a whole life policy, but this policy's sole purpose is to make sure that your people have peace of mind when
Yeah,
you pass away. Right?
absolutely, man. It's so critical because one thing is for sure and two for certain is that losing a loved one is already bad enough. And if
Yeah.
you have to try to pull together those funds at the 12th hour, that makes even more pressure and it can lead into, things down the line where you may need some counseling, things of that nature, because mentally speaking, you're not ever going to be the same. So with that being said, man, we try to streamline this process extremely easy. There's a one-page application, so it doesn't feel like you're per se signing your life away. But here's the golden ticket to what we really do, Perry. We have the cash insurance benefit, the 24-hour payout, but we
Mm-hmm.
also have family support services too. So
Mm.
what that means is that we actually give our clients an opportunity to write down their final wishes for their loved one to follow the blueprint because they're not funeral directors, professionals, right?
Yeah.
They don't really know the ins and outs of the business and different costs. So that's where we come in as big brother, big sister, and walk that family through the process. That's an added bonus to what we do, more like a concierge service, right?
Yeah.
That goes along with the 24-hour payout. And as you mentioned before, you can have other life insurance. That's great. So this would be more of a supplement if you do,
Mm-hmm.
such as a job insurance or another policy. So you don't have to take away from what you have. It's just adding that special sauce to making sure things run smoothly.
I love it. I love it. So, whenever we're talking about entrepreneurship, man, it's always kind of crazy because somebody may look at you and be like, okay, Will sells, insurance. Or they may
Mhm.
look at Perry and be like, well, we really don't know what Perry sells. He sells something. I think he sells investments or I heard he's a CFO. Like folks like, what in the world does that dude do? Right. But ultimately, it's not the product that we're selling. What we're actually offering is the result. And in your case, man, it sounds like the result is just that peace of mind and just blessing your family so that when you die, because here's the one thing I had a client say to me one day, hey
Mhm.
Perry, I think it's time to get that life insurance, man, because I was thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die one day. Like that's the only thing you can really guarantee that you're going to
Yeah.
die one day. So it's funny, you know what I'm saying? We'll go and we'll insure a phone super quick, like, oh, I gotta throw some insurance on my iPhone. But when it comes to giving our family peace of mind, knowing that they don't have to pass the hat and go through a GoFundMe, we're hesitant sometime, man. So what you're offering is yeah, your product is, the final expense and the family support services, but really you're offering a ton of peace of mind. So I got to ask you this question, man, because you've been in the
Yeah.
industry long enough now, man, that you're an expert. Because shoot, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with that being said, why do you think people are hesitant? Because I know life insurance isn't the sexiest of topics, and dying ain't the sexiest of topics. Though it's the one thing that we know for certain is going to happen. Why
Yeah.
do you think people are so hesitant, man, about moving forward with this type of stuff?
Man, that's a great question. And you made some really good points because, again, most individuals are hesitant, from what I understand in my 6 years of doing this, because it's not a tangible product. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't play with it in the sense of your phone, your car, other things that's insurable. So typically, if a person can't physically touch it, it'll be the first thing that they'll let go or they won't put it as first of mind. And then you have the fear factor on the other side, whereby people don't want to talk about a doctor's appointment that we're going to have, Perry, death,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a statement that says proper preparation prevents poor performance. And that
Yeah.
goes with your family. And if you prepare yourself right, they'll be able to perform adequately enough when that day comes without all the kicking, the screaming, the fussing, the fighting, because you prepared them for what's definitely going to come. So
It's
just
gonna
the
come.
flexibility of it, can't touch it, can't feel it. So they tend to not even get it or let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Or the third piece is the affordability, right?
Yeah. Talk about that.
So yeah, my thing is with us, we actually tailor make a product that fits your budget. So I have a plan to fit any budget as low as $15 a month. So a little bit of pie is better than no pie, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most people try to fool themselves and say, oh, well, I'll wait until I can afford the whole thing. Well, what if you don't make it? Because obviously tomorrow and the next hour isn't promised,
Right.
right?
Right.
So those are the three things I feel: affordability, tangibility, and the fear of death.
Got it, man. That's powerful. I love that, man. Affordability. I think sometimes I get hit with the same thing as well, man. Oh, man, when I get my finances in order, Perry, I'm gonna come see you. Yo, that's my job is to help you get your finances in order. So you don't have to get them in order to come see me. My job is to help you kind of get them in order. It's kind of like telling the doctor, hey man, after I finish, with this high blood pressure and get this in order, I'm gonna come see you. No, that's the most backwards thinking in the world, but people tend to think that way around their finances, not just investing in insurance, what I'm saying, but kind of just things along those lines. So I love that, man, from affordability piece that it can fit into the budget. Because historically speaking, and I want people to know this as well, I'm life insurance licensed, but
Yep.
again, it's not about me, it's about our ecosystem. I'm saying? That's why it's not a matter of competition. It's a
Yep.
matter of collaboration and building. So I want to make sure I highlight that first. Right, because what Will offers is something that I don't offer. So
Mhm.
why not highlight what he does, right, and get it in front of people, because it's super important. Because going back to the affordability piece, a lot
Mhm.
of times like, oh man, I can't afford it. I mean, $15, like, are you serious right now? I'm saying your Hulu costs more than $15. Is your Hulu more important than your family? So it kind of comes into the priority piece, man. So I absolutely love that. And the one page application and making it easy, absolutely love that, man.
Yep.
So that's really cool. That's really cool. Let me ask you this question, man, because
Yep.
kind of one of our things with our Profitology podcast is we also too want to talk to the entrepreneurs out there,
Yeah.
the current entrepreneurs or the future entrepreneurs, about this business piece.
Yeah.
So you got into the business, got your insurance license in 2014.
Yeah.
And though you're affiliated with a Lincoln Heritage, you actually have your own business. You're building your own team, correct?
Correct.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so so check this out, man. We talked about this a little bit earlier before we got on the call, brother. And I was like, hey man, I'm saying, like, what topic do we want to share with the audience around entrepreneurship?
Mhm.
And you said it, saying quick, saying you just dropped the dime super quick and said, man, perseverance. And I said, let's talk about that, man. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your business journey, your entrepreneurship journey. And
Yeah.
because you said that, like, it was like this, it's like boom. And then you were giving me an analogy when we started talking about it. But in starting a business, perseverance, man, just speak on that a little bit.
Man, I appreciate it, Perry, because that's so critical. Most people get into entrepreneurship, and you probably know this way more than I do, based on a hobby, right? They think that what they do is going to be able to generate income.
Mm-hmm.
But what I also understand, anything that you get into, it's like the analogy I put to you. It's like the airplane always takes off against the wind. So
Mm-hmm.
when you are starting your business and you have a clear cut idea of what it is that you want to do, how it's going to impact lives, because that's critical to add value to people with your
Wow.
product and services, you're going to go against the wind like an airplane. Now, here's the thing: it's going to be hard getting off the ground, but perseverance stands for three things, Perry: results, the purpose, and the massive action plan. I call it the RPM. So
Ooh,
we're
hold on, hold on,
looking
hold
at,
on. Results, purpose, and massive action plan. Is that correct?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, got to keep it going, please.
So that's where I launched from. And when I learned this from my mentor, as far as that's concerned, that allowed me to persevere. So the results is, what do I want my business to represent? Right. The P is the purpose. What's the purpose of my business?
Yeah.
And the M is the massive action. What will I do each and every day in order to hit my results because I have purpose? So it's like the RPM that's in your car. When you hit that gas pedal, right? You see
Mhm.
that it torque up.
Yep.
So it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. You have
Mhm.
to know exactly where you're going. You have to know why, and you got to be ready to put in the work. And you're
Mm.
going to persevere because you're going to run into some obstacles, because the bigger the goal, the bigger the obstacles that you may run into.
Mhm.
But more importantly, the obstacles come from our mind. It's the mindset
Mm.
where we're not mentally prepared to take on this endeavor, then we're not going to be prepared to handle the obstacles that come because we haven't worked on that inner man or woman. So
Mm.
that would be probably what I'm focused on, is the mindset to persevere,
Mhm.
knowing that I have a goal and I know that my business is going to make a difference in people's lives every day.
Yeah. So folks who are listening to this, and if you didn't play basketball, that's called dropping a dime. So that's called that's called dropping a dime. That's called an assist. That's called, oh, you're open. Let me just drop this quick dime on you, and we know it's a guaranteed bucket. It's a
Yeah.
guaranteed bucket. So crazy fire right here, brother. So I'm taking my notes. I was trying to keep up with you here, but um, just to kind of review some of the things here. Something you said that was so powerful just at the very beginning: impact lives.
Yes.
Folks, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes like, oh man, I'm good at making, I don't know, toilet paper, or I'm good at
Yeah.
making,
Again.
cell phone covers, or whatever the case may be. But ask yourself, how are you impacting lives? Because if you're truly impacting lives and making people and helping people become better, or I tell people, hey, your entrepreneurship is not a rocket science. It is literally identify a need, or identify a concern that a person has, and become the solution, right? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? But I love what you said, because that means you're leading from the heart. You want to impact lives. That's absolutely amazing right there. And then you kind of jumped into, the whole piece with the perseverance of going against the wind. I've kind of heard that same analogy. I've heard it even in the sense of that, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I've heard that a plane uses more fuel trying to get off the runway than sometimes it actually used for the actual trip itself. Because after you get off the runway and you get to your altitude and your cruising height,
Yep.
you're cruising, but you got to get off the runway and get to that altitude height. And that's where they spend a lot of the energy. So that's that perseverance piece, man, that you're talking about. So I love that analogy about going against the wind. Let's jump into this RPM, because this is absolutely fire. Results, purpose, and massive action plan. So
Yeah.
let's dissect that a little bit right before we jump into the mindset piece, which we'll end on that. But I love this RPM: results, purpose, and massive action plan. So let's break this down again. Entrepreneur, you're looking, you're looking for results. When you say looking for results, like, what do you mean? So not just with your business, but maybe as we're talking to some of the other entrepreneurs who are listening, results, because I'm super results driven, but I find some folks really aren't. So when you think about results, what are you thinking about, Will?
Well, I'm thinking about the number of folks that I'm able to impact and help each day. So
Okay.
if I want to, in my business, we look at enrollments. I don't
Mm-hmm.
call them really writing applications, because we
Mm-hmm.
enroll people into our program.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at how many people would I like to enroll this month. So say for instance, it's October. My
Yeah.
goal was to enroll 30 new people for the month of October.
Got it.
Right. So with that being said, that's the results I want. That's the
Let's
result I want.
That's awesome. So let's stop there real quick. So hey, y'all, this is what Will is sharing with us right here. We call those on our end, on the CFO side, we call those the KPIs, the key performance indicators,
Yeah.
and kind of like, hey, if you start your month off, and I kind of posted this earlier, what I'm saying, which has been beginning of the quarter. What are your goals for the quarter? What are your goals for the month? What are
Yeah.
your goals for the week? What is your goal for the day? So you are crystal clear in saying, hey, I want to enroll, I want to impact 30 lives this month. So the result you're looking for is 30, which if we break that down, that comes out to being whatever that math is, less than 10, 7. And so let's say it's between seven and 8 people per week if we have 4 weeks this month. So
Yeah.
you already know that's your weekly number. And then
Yeah.
you break that down into your activities like, okay, what do I need to do on a daily basis to get that number, you know what I'm saying, from a weekly standpoint?
Yeah.
That's huge, bro, because you'll be amazed how many times I talk to entrepreneurs and they can't reverse engineer because they haven't set, hey, this is the goal this month. The goal is to enroll 30 people, or what my team, they know our one thing is we want to impact 10 businesses per month. We're going to bring in 10 new businesses and change their lives per month. That's our number, which we can then break down and reverse engineer into and say, hey, if it's 10 per month, that's coming out to being, like 2.5 per week. And then Perry needs to have, X amount of phone calls at this percentage rate to be able to, reach that number. Now we can put a plan to that. So I love that. So I just want to make sure I was clear on what you meant by results.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, fam. Talk to me about the purpose.
Yeah. So the purpose, and just to go back, man, I love how you just broke that thing down, man. It's so cool, man. It's like minds is so dope to me, right?
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
So the purpose is twofold, right? Because you have to have an opportunity to celebrate your success. And the other part of that is what kind of value are you adding to, in my business, the people that you do touch. So my purpose is to add value to their lives based on my product, right? And on the flip side of that, my celebration can kind of go twofold. One, and just to be completely transparent, I was able to purchase some new office space, right? And that
I saw that. I said, yeah.
So that was a goal of mine. And that was my purpose, is to help so many people that I can do that, right? So the next goal of mine is actually to take my children somewhere at the end of October, right?
Okay.
On a cabin or something where we're all together. So it gives me something to shoot for, because A, it's close to my heart, and I'm giving my heart to my clients each time I go and enroll them, right?
Yeah.
So that's the purpose for me.
Man, so hold on. Add value, right? So first of all, you're adding value to the lives of your clients. That's it right there. If y'all don't hear anything Will has said today, walk away from this understanding. If you add value to people's lives, you will be compensated. Add value to people's lives. And then I love this other piece here, as far as the celebration piece, how this being twofold with your purpose is your why, right? I've once heard, man, from a mentor, it was, and probably one of those corny cliches, it's probably been said 1,000 different times. If your why doesn't make you cry, get you a new why. You know what I'm saying? So but I love that. It's like, man, I want to take the fam, you know what I'm saying, on a vacation. I remember, man, when I first got into the fitness biz and I was making pretty good money. Actually, I had started making as much money as my dad was making as like a 20-year firefighter. And what I did for the first couple of years, I said, I want to send my family, my parents, on vacation, because vacations we had coming from Akron wasn't no let's go on a cruise, or hey, we gonna drop down to the Bahamas and all of that. It was like, no, we're gonna load the car up and we're gonna drive about these 7-8 hours down to Tennessee, you know what I'm saying, stay in a spot with no AC, everybody in one room trying to get the window AC. Cass don't really know about the grind. Hold on, Will, listen, we keep it 100 today, baby. Cass don't know about everybody in one crib in the one room, they got the one window AC and everybody trying to stay cool. I'm down in Tennessee, bro, allergies going crazy, can't breathe, snotted up, eyes closed up. Like, that's not vacation. That's not vacation. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see family, but that's not vacation. So something I did, man, and told myself, I said, man, I'm gonna send my parents on vacation, because as I became an adult, I realized how much they sacrificed for me and whatnot. So, one year we was able to do something. Next year, I think I sent them to Mexico. I went up and watched my sister, and that just warmed my heart to be in a position to be able to do that. So again, man, I love this purpose of to celebrate and to add value. So this is fire. Talk a little bit, man, about the massive action plan. What do you mean by massive action plan?
Means you got to get up early and stay up late, because this ain't no 9 to 5. You get paid based on clocking in. You get paid based on results. So what that
Yeah.
means is that you have to have a massive action plan all the way down to a daily routine in the morning. I hear you
Yeah.
talk about it a lot, P,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we apply it, and that's why we're able to progressively move forward. So let's use this business for an example, because as a plug, I am looking to hire some quality people with a world-class work ethic and a heart to serve.
Yeah.
So for me, what that means is I need to touch 10 houses and touch 10 people a day,
Okay.
regardless of whatever that may look like,
Yep.
right? My
Okay.
goal is to help one family a day, two, if we get things moving, three, if we really on the rocket ship. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, knowing exactly where you're headed each day when you get up, or excuse me, the night before, because again, that's preparation, right? Because you don't want to get out here and get the winging it and try to figure out, how we gonna do this. But if you prepared coming that next day and you know you're gonna touch 10 people, it doesn't matter how many hours you have to do it, but whatever it takes based on your massive action plan to help that one person, that's what we do. And we call it WIT, whatever it takes, baby,
Whatever it
legally,
takes.
morally, and ethically speaking, to help you out for sure.
Man, that's fire. So again, just dropping so many gems right now. So let me say this because this is absolutely fire. Early to late, entrepreneurship is not a 9 to 5. It's
No,
not a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Now, the deal is you still want to have those boundaries so you can keep that balance, but it's not a 9 to 5, right?
right.
So let's get that crystal clear. Having a daily routine.
Yeah.
My daily routine, here's the deal, y'all. I can tell how successful a business owner is by looking at two things:
Mhm.
their bank account and their calendar. I can
Woo!
tell you what's going on with the business just with that. Give me a snapshot of the bank account and the calendar. I can tell you pretty much the whole story. So if you look at my calendar, I got time that's blocked off or I'm not available. This is the time for this. I have my meetings already in there. So that's super important. And then, man, something you just blessed me with that I got to make sure that I do as well is I gotta take advantage of that nighttime planning, because you said it in so many terms. Like, you can't wake up the next day winging it, trying to think about, oh well, what's the next move. Like, everybody is not going in the booth and dropping a freestyle like Jay-Z with nothing written
Right.
down. Yo, everybody that Will, that ain't you. That
Yeah.
ain't you. Hey, y'all, write your stuff down. Like, it's a different beast. And man, it is so true. And something I'm gonna talk to my team about going into the fourth quarter, because we're doing a fourth quarter meeting this upcoming weekend, just to
Ooh,
plan out the fourth quarter, dial in some systems, see what we need to let go, what we need to get better on. But
okay.
walking into the next day with it already planned out, because guess what? Stuff is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna find stuff, you know what I'm saying? Stuff is gonna happen. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And you might have to change some stuff. But if you at least walk into the day with a plan,
Yeah.
you can then, account for the things that may happen that you weren't planning for and you weren't expecting. So I absolutely love that, bro. That's absolutely fire right there. That's awesome. So real quick, y'all, we'll just drop this with this RPM, just like when you get in a car, he said, and you hit the accelerator and that arrow start to move. Results, purpose, massive action plan.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we don't breeze by this too quickly. And he mentioned that he's looking for other individuals
Yeah.
to partner with, who I think you said something about have a heart to serve, and something else you said. It was something with, I forgot what it was, but we are looking for people to join your team. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, man. Because here's the thing. I love what I do to a point where I will do whatever it takes, legally, morally, and ethically speaking, to help. And I know that this business is something that's critical to every family, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the world-class work ethic was the second piece to that, because we want to make sure that you are working towards getting whatever you want. Now, what's that saying, Perry, where it says you can't have a millionaire mindset with a mediocre work ethic, something of that
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
So that's what we're
Uh-huh.
looking for, man. Someone that has the heart of a servant. Because when we go talk to our clientele, just to kind of give a snapshot, it's
Yeah.
from the ages of 40 to 85. That's our
Okay.
demographics,
Okay.
and they're making 100,000 or less. So they're typically on a fixed income, which is fine. So
Yeah.
security stability.
Yep.
So it's kind of like talking to your aunt, your uncle, your
Yeah.
grandma, your grandpa. So you have to have a heart to serve, but
Mm-hmm.
yet you have to put in the work. So We're just looking for people that definitely want to get excited about their future. I don't know what freedom means to most people. It can be financially, it can be time wise,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever you desire to have as far as your goal,
Mm-hmm.
you can accomplish that here at Lincoln Heritage and being partnered up with me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a partner. I'm looking to just help anybody that has those two qualities and coachability too. You know, you
Yeah.
can't have a know-it-all, but
Yeah.
just somebody that's coachable and what have you. So yeah,
I'm gonna give you a shameless plug right here, y'all. As part of me being a John Maxwell national international part of the international speaking and coaching team. One of John's quotes is, everything rises and falls with leadership, right? So again, regardless of who you decide to partner up with, and if this is something that you're interested in, this brother right here has my stamp of approval from an integrity standpoint and a character standpoint. And integrity and character doesn't mean that you know everything. It just means that you try to do the right thing, right? And you go above and beyond to do the right thing all the time. So I definitely vouch for this brother. So if it's something you're interested in learning about, man, please reach out to him, because everything rises and falls with leadership. Also, too, we're talking about joining a system. So, I'm very familiar with the Lincoln Heritage system. We had a partnership. I had a partnership with Lincoln Heritage some time ago, and I understand that the reason they have the results that they have is because of the system that they have in place. And another quote John has in one of his books is, systems allow ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results predictably. So if you couple a system with leadership, it's really hard for you to lose, y'all. So with that being said, if it's something you're looking to get into, man, definitely holler at my man Will, for sure, for sure. All right, brother. Man, yeah, for sure, man. So as we kind of come into the end of this piece, you didn't drop. Oh, hard pause. You know what I'm saying? That's why I take notes, because I get excited on these calls with y'all, man.
No
You know what I'm saying?
doubt. I got some here too, man.
But
Yeah.
so before because you hit us with the RPM, the mindset, you said this. I want to make sure we don't breeze past this one, because you and I know this, and you hear people talk about mindset, but like for this entrepreneurship journey, you have to be focused on, developing and improving your mindset. This can't be just, oh, I read this book last year and I'm ready to rock and roll. Casper, like, oh man, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad back in 2003. I'm ready to go get it. No, this is an ongoing piece, right? You know what I'm saying? So talk a little bit, because you mentioned that about, the obstacles and of having the correct mindset versus the incorrect mindset, and just continue to grow that. Before we go, man, speak on how important mindset has been to your business, and even something you would even tell like a new rep coming on board about mindset and how that pertains to growing a successful brand or business.
Absolutely, man. I love this topic so much, man. I can talk about this all day. But seriously, because that's the mind is the most powerful thing we have with us, because we have complete control, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've learned, I read a book and listened to it quite often, Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind by T. Harv Eker, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a formula. It says thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. So here's the
Okay.
cool part. It's the thoughts that we have that leads to pretty much everything that we go through,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So if we find a way to control our thoughts, right? But then control it with the fact of gratitude, because gratitude outweighs all negativity. And you can't have more of something if you aren't grateful for what you currently have. So that's been one of my main keys to success, P, because gratitude is everything. Every day I wake up, I write in my journal 5 things I'm grateful for every day.
Yeah.
And what that does is it strengthens my mindset, because the mind is a muscle. And the more you exercise that mind, right, the more creative you get versus competing. Like you said earlier, we collaborate, we don't compete,
Yeah.
right? And also, if the new reps coming in, the first item that I have them listen to is Earl Nightingale's
The strangest secret.
boom, off the top. That's what we listening to.
Yes, sir. You will listen to that right now. Hey,
right?
y'all, I got that on my phone right now. That
Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
every day, man. Because again, people think it's those audios are kind of kooky, weird, whatever the case. But like anything, we need instructions. And I want to drop this with you. A system is what you talked about earlier, and that even goes in our mind. So here's the cool part. The acronym for system that we've come up with, it stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money.
Ooh, there it is.
That's YSTE,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And if
Yep.
you stay there, you would eliminate so many headaches and so many different obstacles by just following the system. And that
Sheesh.
starts with your mindset. Every day, I got to get up at this certain time. I got to do this. Well, hold on, I'm sorry. I don't have to. I get to.
Ooh, I get to. Got you. Because that's that gratitude coming in right now.
Boom.
Yeah, this is fire. So hold on. System. Saving. It's so crazy because I use team all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, hey, save yourself time, energy, and money. But I like this system right here. You know what I'm saying? Saving yourself time, energy. That's fire right there. So system, y'all, saving yourself time, energy, and money. And we're going to end with this, brother. This gratitude piece. You said it, and it's so ingrained in you that it come out just on some cool stuff, kind of like when I'm cracking jokes on cat. They're like, yo, did he just say something really reckless to me? And they don't even know, right? Because it came out so smooth. Kind of, it's kind of, it's kind of, kind of the same. We just keeping them 100, right?
That's
So
it.
here's the deal, man. You said something about gratitude and you went by it so quick I couldn't even get my notes down on it, but you said something to the effect of gratitude. You got to be grateful. If you're not grateful for what you have now, how can you receive something in the future? Something to that effect. What did you say? Yeah, what did you say again? Yeah, even if it's not verbatim,
Yeah,
but
if
that
you're
was
not
important.
grateful for what you currently have, God can't put more in your hands because He's the one, in my humble opinion, not trying to take it, but I'm
No,
just
no, no, you're good.
my heart.
Yep.
He can't put nothing in your hand if you're not grateful for what you currently have.
Man, you better
You have
stop.
a car that is getting you everywhere you need to be,
Yeah,
but every time you get in it, you complain, you look at other people's cars and you get a little envious and
yeah,
you start trying to dog your car out, right? You
yeah,
don't ever wash it.
yeah.
How soon you think you're gonna get a new car? Because you're not grateful for what you have.
You better
So if you
speak that.
take care of what you have, and even though it may have rust all over it, take it to the wash like it's a Lexus or whatever you want, clean
Yeah,
the tires up, and then next thing you know, a blessing will come for you to be able to get what you need. Because if you
man,
take
you
care
drop.
of a little,
You ain't gonna turn this into church. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm as my mom said, my knees ain't right. I can't get to dancing in here because my I'm getting a little old. I just celebrated a birthday, but
oh,
that's
happy
word
birthday
right.
too, bro.
I appreciate that, fam. That's
Yeah,
awesome right there, man. That is so phenomenal. I know my mom said some, because my mom, she grew up in the South, grew up in
yeah,
the projects and all of that, and she even said, from a cleanliness standpoint,
yeah,
you may have a hole in your sock, but it's
yeah.
gonna be the cleanest hole anybody have ever seen.
Oh,
Because you're right.
period.
So I love that, man, from a gratefulness and a gratitude piece, bro. So man, so with that said, man, we're gonna close up, brother. Because I see where this could go. We could stay on here for the next 2-3 hours chopping it up. I'm grateful to you, man, for you jumping on Profitology and sharing just so many gems, man. I just hope people, listen to this and take notes and listen to it again because there's so much fire and so many gems that you dropped in, man. So I'm just grateful to you for joining us, man. So with that being said, again, we want to highlight you and your business. We have a link here from a website standpoint where people can come visit you. We have the www.funeraladvantageagent.com/William Hyphen Evans. So we'll have that link in the podcast. So if you want to go check out the website, and then we'll have Will's contact information. As I think we already have it in the links already, and we'll make sure we have your email in there as well, brother. So in closing,
Yeah.
what would you want to share with the audience? And before you go there, um, y'all, this insurance conversation doesn't have to be an awkward conversation,
Yeah.
because the same way we can talk about birth, we need to be talking about death, because those are the two things that it is what it is. The
Yeah.
day you were born, it is a 100% guarantee that you're going to die.
Yes.
So having that conversation in between then versus trying to have it on the back end of that is super, super important, y'all. So, this doesn't have to be an awkward conversation. If you do not have, final expense insurance, or you need to talk to somebody, reach out to my man Will. If you're looking at, this entrepreneurship piece and you're interested in going this direction, reach out to my man Will, right? Because it's important. So it's one thing to, want to achieve success, but a lot of times it's about who you surround yourself with.
Oh,
And I actually have an unfair advantage. And people ask me like, hey, Perry, man, how have you been so successful in business? How have you been able to grow a healthy 6-figure business? Working from Panera, working from your living room, dining room table, whatever the case may be. And I have an unfair advantage because I started focusing on working with a lot of entrepreneurs,
yeah.
and I get something from all of y'all.
Yeah.
So I feed off of y'all. So I actually have an unfair advantage from a personal growth standpoint and a mindset standpoint, man. So I'm grateful to you, man, for that. So with that being said, man, what do you want to leave our people with? And then what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. I guess the biggest thing I want to leave with people, and especially in today's time frame, because obviously there's a lot of things going on in the
Mm-hmm.
world. Always remember this: nothing ever happens to you; it happens for you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you have that perspective, right, in your mind, whatever you can dream and believe, you can do it. Like Perry just said, and I'll thank God for Perry, man, because I will be straight transparent with you. When I connected with Perry and put together the system that him and his team has together, that
Mm-hmm.
gave me room to buy and do some things with the office space and with other things of that nature, where I finally learned how to work my business to run a business versus when we first met and talked about this from hand to mouth, just
Mm-hmm.
hustle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, that's where we from, Akron.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
right?
For
So,
sure.
um, with that being said, man, life insurance, but more importantly, final expense insurance is probably one of the most selfless things that you can do because we'll never see the benefit. That's any life insurance. We'll never see the money ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
if you love your family and friends enough to leave them with an avenue to take care of something that we know we're going to happen, pat yourself on the back because you have then gotten your affairs in order. So that's the key. Just get your affairs in order, protect your family, and join this winning team because we're going to the top, baby. Straight up.
Just go straight up to the top, baby, because that's the only way we know how to roll. You know what I'm saying? From Akron, Ohio, because I said this a many a times, man. The grit and the
Yeah.
person, you know what I'm saying, perseverance. That's when you said perseverance. I said, yeah, absolutely. Because if you're from Northeast Ohio, you know what it is. Oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? Like to come out of that environment, survive that environment, you know what I'm saying? It just speaks volume. So big shout out to all our people in Northeast Ohio. Big shout out to Akron, Ohio, East Side, West Side, South, North Side, the whole
Yeah.
nine. We love y'all. We just two kids from Akron here. And with that being said, y'all, we'll close out this episode of Profitology with Perry Jeffries. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you connect with us. Go to our website, perryjeffries.com. We have a ton of content on there. Go to YouTube. Please subscribe
Yeah.
so you can get this content. Will's video will be on YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces
Thank
and our gray hair because we getting old. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast Profitology, and more importantly, y'all share this information. If
please.
you got value from this, don't hold this to yourself. Share this with somebody else. And that's what it's about, y'all. So with that being said, another great episode, brother. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Love you as well, man. Peace.
All right, one.